Hello, my fellow Alaskans. How are we all doing out there on this beautiful evening, Wednesday evening? I am here at the Floaters Bar and Grill here in Big Lake, Alaska for the District 30 meeting that is about ready to begin. And it's going to be jam-packed full here tonight for this meeting. Right off the bat, we're going to have a discussion about, if you guys remember, Dr. Douglas Frank, who came up to Alaska and was talking about election integrity and everything that was involved with that, all the graphs and everything that he presented to all of us. So hopefully you caught one of the 3 live streams that I did when he was here. We're going to have about the first 10 minutes of today's broadcast. We'll be covering that. Then after that, we're going to have Representative Kevin McCabe go and take the stage, and he's going to talk about what we are looking at in the future in Juneau and what they are going to do there. And been told that they're hoping to be able to get Senator Mike Shower on the telephone to participate in this discussion happening here at District 30. Then on top of that, I have been told, because of my comments on the last video where I had typed in for the town hall, I am not supposed to do that, that I seem to have offended those within power, those that are sitting as representatives, so to speak. We'll just leave it at that. Anyways, I've been silenced as in for being able to type anything up, so you'll see just the like, share, and click that bell to be notified. It'll be the only comment that I'll be posting today, but doesn't stop me from opening my mouth and saying something to you now. I never made that promise, so thanks. Anyways, the meeting is about ready to begin. I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around and flip the other microphone up and on, and you guys, thank you for being here. Like, share, click that bell to be notified. Find this on X, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble, and also on our website. Go to our website, go click that button for support and help us grow. Every penny goes right back into what we're doing. It's what made it possible for me to be here tonight.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we're going to also have prayer from the one pastor that I know, if we have any other pastors in the room. And our pastor here will lead us in a word of prayer. Thank you.
Let's pray. Father, we just thank you for this night. Lord, and I just pray that, Lord God, that you would have your way here this evening, that we would be civilized, and Father God, that we would get lots of accomplished, and that we'd be in one accord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much. You can go ahead and have your seats, please. I just want to thank you once again for all the effort coming out on a cold, chilly night to be able to participate, and thank you very much. I did have a portion on here about video recording, and so we want to be a little, that has to be at the discretion of the chair of the district. So just want to communicate that to you. So, but we're going to have a person who's going to be recording here, Politadick, and he's going to present this stuff so that hopefully, as large as our district is, that some of those people that I've already notified by telephone, that they can know as well, you know, of how that maybe they can see what all is taking place. Of course, we encourage everybody to be able to be in person to our districts, but our district is so big that a 5-hour trip might be a little bit demanding. So thank you very much. We have to call at this time from our secretary. Do we happen to have a quorum? We do have a quorum. Okay. We have the approval of the past minutes. Those were posted for us, and I didn't know if anybody had any objection or any corrections to that. If you do, please let us know at this moment, and then I would be willing to entertain a motion from the floor to accept the minutes of the past meeting that we had. Okay, is there a second? I second. Okay, Muriel had a second right there. Did you catch that? Second. Okay, all right. So we got that taken care of. Treasurer's report on that?
Treasurer's report is the same as it was before.
There ain't no way this is Republican. If this is Republican meeting, I'm going to grab me some.
Okay.
Republican meeting, no liberal.
couldn't understand what he has to say.
He said I'm drinking.
Oh, he said I'm drinking, okay, we understand. All right, with that, we're gonna go ahead at this time and call for Dave Johnson. He's the state representative.
Start around and find out.
If you want to keep interrupting, you can go ahead and leave anytime that you want. Thank you. Dave is going to be the state representative for Call of America, and he's going to basically give us some information, be able to pick his brains on what he has to give us tonight. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
It's nice meeting you guys. I've been here before. Okay, how about there? There we go. All right. I've been out to your district before, and I really think you got it. That's a little easier, isn't it? Okay. So I represent Cause of America for Alaska. Okay. I don't want to eat this thing, but anyway, I represent Cause of America for Alaska. If you don't know what Cause of America is, it's a Mike Lindell program that he sponsored and funded, and he's fought really hard for our country to produce good elections. So we're on that path of trying to clean up the elections right now. You may not believe we had election problems, but at least 1 million people went to the Capitol on January 6th because something was wrong, and they saw it. And if you kind of keep an eye on the news, what's going on nowadays, you can see that we have a lot of problems. The stuff you're not going to see on the nose is we're winning a lot of cases, right? Things are starting to change for the better. We had an Obama judge say, you can't say it's conspiracy anymore if the machines, if you reference the machines are cheating, he doesn't want to hear it anymore because they are, right? So our goal here at Cause America is to get down all the way across the country to what we do same-day voting with no machines, hand count. We can do that because we just did it right here in the MatSu Valley. Hand counting is not that hard. I know I'm going to hear questions about, well, we have ranked choice voting. Well, ranked choice voting was not, it should never have passed. There's 2 items on that ballot. That's not what it says. It's supposed to be 1 ballot measure item only. Okay? So they slid that one in. I'm hoping somebody will understand that they have to remove that from the ballot. But otherwise, we're going to learn to hand count because the law says we have to hand count it anyway. 5% of every district. So if they hadn't figured out how to do it, I think they better start training now. Our movement is just a civil movement, okay? We're trying to get people involved to stand up because there's power in the voice, all right? We are the government. That's what the Constitution's written on. We are a republic. We're not subjects, we're citizens. So keep that in mind. You have to do the thinking differently now. We do not elect officials to do the job for us. We support them, we tell them what we want done, and that's how we do it. There are representatives. So we have Congressman McCabe here. I don't think Senator Mike Shower is here or not, but anyway, they work for us. They're our representatives. You speak to them, you tell them what you need to do, what we're concerned about. We definitely got problems with our elections, okay? We're going to prove cases of fraud in the election system, okay? It's not hard. We've been working on this for 3 years. It pretty much stands out. So we'll bring those forward. We'll show the cases. We're just going to keep going, but we're doing it at a timing along with Mike Lindell and the rest of the United States. So it's coming, all right? There's lawsuits, everything coming. I'm kind of glad it's going this way because we're using the First Amendment, the ability to petition our representatives instead of going to the Second Amendment. And this is the way we do need to do it. We need to all get together and stay in that First Amendment portion. I run across people all the time that don't think it's going to work. And I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with them telling me there's other ways of doing this. Their way is very violent, and that's not the way to do it. We need to get involved. We have children, we have grandchildren. We need to set the precedents and say this is the way our elections will be run. Okay? If you look at the laws for the elections, they're pretty bad. They're not clear, there's no direction, and all these laws are written and sitting out there on the books. They need to be cleaned up. If the legislation needs help, we will help them. Right? absentee ballots, mail-in ballots, same day absentee. Come on. Why do you have early voting if you got same day absentee? So you can put it out here in one of the libraries. That's what they say. The problem with that one is they never tell you how many ballots they issued. So weeks later, or a week later, you still got ballots coming in from the Politadick library, and you don't know how many they issued. It never shows up on the report. It's a little scammy. You would not do this with your banking. So we're not going to let them do it with our votes. And that's where we stand. What I have here is some places you can go get information. You just scan these QR codes and load it up onto your phone. I'll leave them here for you guys to look at. And I also got a sign-up sheet if you want to get involved. We're looking for people with talent, data people. We have data research. Research is a very big thing because there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of channels you got to watch and follow along. Mike Lindell had a lunch and learn yesterday, talked about all the different things. Connecticut, you probably didn't hear about Connecticut. Connecticut, their Secretary of State said, no more absentees, same day voting, because they got caught cheating, all right? And he doesn't want this anymore. And that's a Democrat. And it was a Democrat election with Democrats. They just got a little greedy and got a little carried away because it's so easy to cheat. And if anybody tells you that the machines are not online, they know nothing about computers, all right? They know nothing about computers. Every computer can be accessed, every single one. Mike Lindell, or Dr. Frank, I think he probably gave it in his briefing how they can do that in front of the Secretary of State as long as they don't get caught and charged for it. But he can hack them. It's not that hard. It's really easy to hack these machines. So why are we using them? Okay, when we go back and say, well, the voter roll's the only thing we use it for. You don't want central location. You put a central location together, it gives you a suppository of all these names you can just pull up and say, I'm going to vote for these people. Those names are not all true. We do not have as many people in the state as we do on the voter rolls. We're at 108%. That's too many, all right? Not everybody votes. Okay. If you look at the numbers, all the statistics, you'll see there's something wrong in the numbers, just the way they stack. That's important. Okay, we can't just sit there. I've got lawsuits up against the state down in the 9th district right now. We're still fighting to get our constitutional rights. We're not going to sit. We're not going to quit. I'm not quitting. I'm going to continue to fight till my last breath. This is ridiculous. I fought 22 years of my life. I served this country to defend the Constitution, and I'm going to continue to defend that Constitution. If you want to come along and help me, I've got sign-up sheets here. Tell me what your talents are, I'll get you involved. Basically, we're going to get rid of all the machines, and we're going to go to same-day voting. We'll have absentee ballots, of course, because you got military members outside the state. We may have a doctor's appointment, but we're not going to give excuses out. All these things that are for our convenience work against us. You don't want to early vote, because that tells you if you're a Republican, because you're here at the Republican meeting, I can bet probably $1 to a donut that you're going to vote Republican. So if I see your name on there, I know it's a Republican that got that vote. So now I have to counter with another one for my selection if I was cheating. It's that simple. It's nothing. It's no rocket scientist stuff. But they get away with it. And that's where we have to step in and take control of it. Because we are the government. Don't think anything different than that. Read the Constitution, and how does it start off? We the people. Does it say we the legislation? Does it say we the government? We the president? No, it says we the people. And that's you and me. And that's kind of my soapbox for today. All right, so I have these things for you. If you want to get signed up, just please do so, because we are growing. We've got groups already going all over the place. We got Juneau, Homer, Kenai, Fairbanks, and even in Anchorage. So I think out here we probably can have 3 groups in the valley. We already got one, so this is a little further north. Might as well get a north group. All right? Thank you for your time. Any questions?
Got to be quick on your questions.
I'll put them right here.
Does anybody at this point have some questions for Dave?
Thank you for doing that, Dave.
Yeah. Come again.
We've got those 130 precincts that don't use machines already. Save ballots?
I'm sorry, come up here and use the mic. Don't spit into it, but try and talk here like this. Well, I know, but go ahead.
The question I had, there's 130 precincts in the state that do not use machines. So how did they count the last ballot if it was ranked choice? I mean, they must have a method, is what I'm getting at.
Called paper ballots.
Yeah.
That's what it's
I'm
called.
just saying, no, they voted, and I'm just curious how they counted.
Okay. The effort that's going forth here with this is really huge, and it's encouraging because they really have a methodology that they're trying to work with that I believe will be significant. As Dave was saying, we don't want this to come to a portion of where the people really have to finally stand up, because at that point it will not be pretty and it'll be catastrophic. But if we don't get involved and we don't do stuff to correct the situation, because it's a losing situation for both the Democrats and the Republicans. So therefore, it's something that we should be working jointly together to be able to resolve this, instead of a select few, ultra-wealthy, being able to put their money into the situation to cause elections to get who they want to be in. So anyhow, sign up. If you don't sign up, then basically you're happy with what's going on. You should be involved and you should be a participant in this, because if we don't have the people, if we don't have a movement of the people, then everything's going to fall flat, and the socialists are going to take the country over. It's that simple. If you don't get off your duff and do something, our country is gone. And once it's gone, it'll only take bloodshed. It'll be the only way that it'll be gotten back. That's the only way, and it will be ugly. I'd like to be able to hear at this time from Jerry Ward concerning some of the rank to red, if you please.
Yes, first off, ranked choice voting no longer say ranked red, it's ranked Republicans. That is what you do. Because what we've discovered at the Trump campaign headquarters, we've had over 100 people had no idea what ranked red was. So that's a ridiculous thing. It's ranked Republicans. For one more time, this coming Friday, we will turn in enough. If anybody have any booklets out still, you need to get them in tomorrow. The ballots or the signatures will be turned in this Friday. We needed 30 House districts. We have 36 as of today. So there's enough to place it on the ballot. Whether it will be on the primary or the general in November, that depends on when the legislature actually adjourns, because there has to be a time limit after the adjournment of it. So that will determine whether it's on the primary ballot or the general ballot. As far as it passing, there's be a lot of money spent. When they got it on the ballot last time, as we all know, come about midnight, it had been defeated. Then they counted the votes that were brought in that did not have witness signatures, and it passed. There's going to be a lot of money spent to make sure that we stay ranked choice voting in Alaska, but it'll be up to the citizens. We will have the people on our side. I believe that we'll be able to do away with ranked choice voting. But it's coming up for this election, it'll still be on unless it's on the primary, but like I say, that's out of our hands. As far as collecting the signatures, good job for everybody here, because the citizens of Alaska have now placed it on the ballot. It will be on the ballot, period, and we will be able to repeal it. This is a done deal, and it's no one person that did it. It was a grassroots thing, and we were up against all of us. You're up against Blackstone, whatever it is, George Soros, and all kinds of outside money. And now, as far as the one congressional seat goes, right now, unless it's on the primary, it will be ranked choice voting on that. But it's not going to affect the president's election. Alaska's going to elect President Trump, and everything will be fine if we do. If we don't, Dave, we're not going to have to worry about any more elections. I think it's going to be over. We've got one more shot at this game. And as far the Representative McCabe, and Senator Shower's staff that are here, once this is filed on Friday, then it goes into the legislative hand as to if you adjourn in the 90 days, the legislature, that will determine whether it's on the November ballot or on the primary ballot. So that's something, I know it. I didn't even know that till about a week ago. But that's what affects which, according to the governor's office, lieutenant governor's office, that affects whether it's going to be on, primary or general ballot. Either way, the citizens of Alaska, you will get to repeal ranked choice voting, and I think I've met the 4 people that voted for it. I think we're in good shape, and that's a report on that. Thank you. Question. Thank goodness somebody had a question. I was tired of rambling.
I was going to ask you, isn't this all dependent on whether Dahlstrom approves it also or not?
They have 60 days to approve the signatures, but no, not really. And I have no reason to believe that she won't. But the Division of Elections has 60 days to certify the signatures. The signatures are already certified, so it's done. I mean, they would have to actually do away with signatures because we needed 26,000 and we have over 40 right now, and they're from 30, from more than 30 House districts. In fact, right now we're standing, and this is one of the 200% ones, Big Lake, that have signed it. And I don't know if anybody in Big Lake's actually voted for ranked choice voting. If they are, they're hiding. So, no, it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. We just need to pay attention to the outside money that's going to be coming. And it will be flowing into trying to defeat this. But it's good to have paper ballots same-day voting. I approve of that. I think that we should do it. I don't trust Dominion machines or anything else, but this is a vote of the people. And outside money is not going to save them. We're going to do a ranked choice voting, and I'm proud of Alaska for doing this. And with that, that's my report.
We thought that we weren't going to be able to get Senator Shower up, but strangely enough, he came through on the telephone, so I'm going to, at this portion, try and hold the microphone so that he can basically speak to us. And Mike, can you hear me at the present time?
I can hear you. The White House is going to work for them. It's no video, so we have better, I think, throughput, hopefully. But it's going to be a connection, so how does it sound?
Can y'all hear him?
No. Put it on speaker and then put the mic up there.
Put your phone on speaker.
Put your phone on speaker and then put the...
Is it on speaker?
That's
It's already on. Try again, Mike. One more time, please.
All right, see if you can get that speaker right by the microphone. Let me know if you can hear it at all.
Yes.
Everybody's being able to hear you at the present time, so go ahead. You're on.
I'll speak loud. So first of all, hi everybody. Sorry we couldn't be there. Michelle and I'm going to take a selfish moment. We are taking a couple days, just the 2 of us, before the session starts because I'm not going to see my family much. So I wish I could be there tonight, but sometimes you got to take care of your family. That being said, Jerry, I cannot tell you how excited I am because Lloyd was telling me, have some encouraging news, because I'm in a Senate minority of 3 and the Senate's not doing a very good job, as you guys are well aware, I think. It's a very left-leaning, Democrat-controlled Senate, unfortunately, but that's politics. We'll see how next November goes. But I'm here to tell you, folks, if we repeal ranked choice voting, they get this on the ballot, this is a national altering event. This is not just Alaska. This is not just us. Alaska, as some of you know, is being used by Mary Peltola, by Alaskans for Better Elections, and other groups across the nation as the narrative to say they love it in Alaska, it's working great. Michelle and I were out at a conference a couple months ago. Rep McCabe was there with us, and we had 35 states represented, 35 of the 50, probably at least a dozen of those have movements right now from the same groups, the same nefarious left-wing extremist groups being funded by dark money from across the nation that are trying to install ranked choice voting. I actually spoke for a couple minutes at the conference off the cuff because I was asked to do that briefly, and a lot of different groups have reached out to us, and we're reaching out to them with what data we have. Here's my point, folks. This is a big deal. And like I said, I couldn't tell you how excited I am to know that this is going to get on the ballot, and we will repeal this. Because it is not popular, regardless of what you hear. Ignore the hype, ignore the radio ads that we're still getting blasted with, because they are desperate to hold on to this because if Alaska repeals this, folks, it derails their national efforts. So this is really good news. And I want to highlight that because it's happening all over the country. And we've got that direct from state legislators, senators, and House reps we had a chance to talk to. Okay, that's on the national stage. That won't matter, as Jerry said, for this election. We may still be stuck with it. We'll see where it ends up through the legislative cycle. And understanding the legislature always has a chance when something's on the ballot to do something substantively the same and take it off the ballot. I would be surprised if this Senate does anything because they have been very pro-RCV, including the Senate president who said they're not going to touch it. So we'll see. Anyways, encouraging news. But the legislature could do something. We'll see. I do have a bill to repeal ranked choice voting. It was actually Senate Bill number 1 for this session, and you can imagine how many hearings I've had for that with this Senate. That being said, on to the Senate, just to give you a little brief, and we'll move on unless there's some questions because I know there's other folks to speak. Because it's myself, Senator Hughes, and Senator Myers in a minority of 3, we're not getting any traction on our bills, as you might imagine. I don't think there's going to be much in the way of anything good that District 30 is going to be interested in because most of the policy committees are controlled by Democrats, so no matter what the House does, it's going to be very hard to get anything of substantive change or bills through the Senate. Since it's left-wing Democrats who are controlling most of the policy committees. Doesn't mean it can't happen. It's possible. There's always horse trading. The House is under Republican control, and Rep McCabe is part of that, and we have the governor on our side still. So there's kind of a 2v1 with the Senate, so it doesn't mean it's impossible, it's just it's going to be challenging, especially for the more conservative the legislation is, the harder it's going to be to get through the Senate. We've got a couple months left, we'll see. We're not going to be out 90 days, I think we all know that. It'll be 120. Senator Hughes, Rob Myers, myself, we're going to continue to work as much as we can as 3 to work with the governor and our House colleagues because there's still things that need to be done. And part of it's going to be educating you guys and keep you involved because there are some significantly bad things, and perhaps the best thing we'll be able to do, as the saying goes, is sometimes just stop bad things from happening. Senator Giesel's defined benefit for all state employees is just going to break the bank. Kevin can talk more about the numbers, but it is horrifying. Up to almost $10 billion over the next 10 years. Where do you think your dividends going, folks? That's it in a nutshell and then some. And that's before Senator Tobin, the Democrat, from Anchorage, that wants another $250 million education spending. So trying to stop those, working with the House and the governor will be a big deal. There's some other bills out there, some wonky stuff, as you can imagine, but we've got 4 months, and I think a good backstop. So that's the good news out of it. The bad news is we're just not going to get much, I think, that we would like to see until we can hopefully have an organization of Republicans next November that are willing to work together and not exclude the conservative ones, because that's kind of what's happening right now. So that's it, I think, in a nutshell. Not much from us. I will continue to keep you guys updated. Lloyd, anything going on, you can obviously call me or ask me. I'm going to try to get back into some Facebook Lives to keep you up to speed during the session. But I think you're going to see mostly status quo out of the Senate. I would expect a small PFD again, and probably a budget that we can't afford because we're not passing a comprehensive fiscal policy. So that's kind of where we are. Like I said, some really good news out there, some status quo stuff, and of course the Senate's kind of disappointing, but that's politics. So I'll stop there because I know Rep McCabe needs to talk and take any questions.
Hold on 1 second. Are there any questions from the floor? Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you for taking your time here to be able to talk with us. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. God bless.
You're getting some applause. Okay. All right. The next thing that we have, and if you do have some things that you would like to have there with Mike or whatever else, then please bring those to me, and then I'll forward those on down to him as well. Thank you very much, appreciate that. At the present time, I'd like to have Mike Alexander to come up
Kevin, go.
one more time.
You gonna let Kevin go? Kevin,
I'm
Representative
sorry.
McCabe.
Sorry, I'm trying to run too many things at the same time, and I'm forgetting everything else. I'm sorry, Kevin, on that. I apologize. I think that mic's a better one than this one.
Okay.
I really do.
No worries. So like Senator Shower said, there's a number of things working. We are going to have incredible pressure from the NEA and from the Association of Alaska School District Administrators to pass a huge BSA. We're going to need every one of you that opposes it to write us letters, frankly, saying that we don't think that a BSA is appropriate. The governor has HB 106 out there, which is teacher bonuses, teacher retention bonuses. It gets money directly into the hands of the teachers, $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000, depending on where they're located. I think that's a much better way because the money goes directly to the teachers instead of to the school district. Right now, the school districts are big business. They're exactly where the universities were decades ago, and they care about getting the money, but only a fraction of that will ever make it to the classroom. A lot of it goes to heating, a lot of it goes to building maintenance, that sort of thing. There's other ways to manage those through capital projects or through the districts. Last night, one of our representatives overheard a conversation at a meeting similar to this, where he thinks that there is a move afoot for the Alaska Association of School District Administrators to sue the legislature if we don't give them what they want. So we need you. That's going to be a big one. The other big things, the energy. Of course, everybody's heard about Cook Inlet gas and how that's going to work. That will be a big part of the discussion, as well as the GRIP funding for transmission lines. Right now we don't have a grid. Those of you that know, we have a 50-year-old extension cord that runs from Homer to Fairbanks. And it needs to be upgraded into a grid, so if there is a fire like there was on the Kenai several years ago that burned down a bunch of power poles, we have a way to mitigate that and get power into folks' hands, electricity into people's homes. The other big one, of course, on my plate, and most of my colleagues as well, is Point McKenzie rail extension. So there will be a big move to get the rail extension done and run rail for the 32 miles from Houston to Port McKenzie. Port McKenzie, I believe, along with the Wasilla Airport, are key to revenue generation and increasing the presence and resource development and sort of increasing jobs in the valley. And the start of that, two things. The start for the Wasilla Airport is a longer runway, and the beginning for Port McKenzie is the rail extension. So both of those are high on the list. You'll see lots of conversation in the House Transportation Committee on that. And of course, election integrity, as we are all working, talking about that tonight. I have a bill that will drop on Friday when the second group of pre-filed bills comes out that has to do with what I promised you when I ran was all elections on the same day. So it'll all be the second Tuesday in November, whenever the presidential election is. You'll also vote for borough, assembly, school boards. I think that one of the reasons we have such low voter turnout statewide is because people are tired of it.
Yeah.
They have to vote in Anchorage in the springtime. They have to vote for the borough elections in October. They have to vote for the president elections in November. There's another one in January. People are tired of it, and they don't want to continually have to go vote once a month. So it'll be interesting. It kind of dovetails with what the borough is doing on the 16th with their increasing the tenure or the term for assembly person from 3 to 4 years. This would fit nicely together, and we kind of did it separately and didn't even know that I didn't even know the borough was doing this until recently. So you'll see that one from me. And one of the other things with Port McKenzie, developing Port McKenzie, is a combined port authority. So right now, for the last decade or so, former former legislator Ward could tell you this, there has been lots of political pressure to prevent us from developing Port McKenzie. Mostly because Port Anchorage wanted the money for their port. And they felt that any money that went to Port McKenzie was money better spent in Anchorage. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. One of the ways we can mitigate that is to work together, I think. We could have a combined port authority similar to LA and Long Beach, Seattle and Tacoma, New York, New Jersey, the New York Port Authority, all the ports in Florida, around Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Clearwater. So if we had a combined port authority, working with a professionally managed board, or working with a professionally managed company with a board that had representatives from the MatSu and Anchorage, and probably one from the legislature, at least the ex officio non-voting member, but I think that we could combine our synergies. The Port of Alaska in Anchorage, I guess it's called the Don Young Port of Alaska now, has a certain way of doing things, and we have a different port and a different way of doing things, and I think we could be great together. So hence that bill, you'll see that on Friday as well. Also very worried about energy. I'm concerned that they want to tear down the Eklutna Dam. That's, I think, 41 megs of power. I'm concerned that they want to shut down Healy 2 in Healy. The Golden Valley wants to shut down Healy 2. That has a potential of 68 megs of power. Yes, they have problems with that plant, but it's still producing more than a windmill would. So there will be a bill that you'll see on Friday for me that concerns that as well. So having said that, I'm here to answer any questions. I can hang around afterwards and we can do it afterwards, or do it now. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Talk loud.
I will talk loud. Response, no, that's okay, I can do it loud enough. When you look at your authority, please give consideration to making it a land-based authority, and give it, just like the railroad, give it a land base if you could. I mean, and that, because I've looked at it a lot, and that'd be very helpful. What my question is more of a, yeah, it's a question. I'd like you to at least consider this. On your first day of session, when you have your caucus, 36 House districts will have said, we want to put before the people repeal ranked choice voting. And I've been in that room, and you know, you and I both know things don't go in that room like everybody thinks. Consider bringing up and talking to your colleagues about a sense of the House, saying, we realize that ranked choice voting was put in with mail-in ballots that did not have witness signatures, and we'd like to encourage Alaska to repeal this. I mean, I think it fits within it. So I guess I'm not I'm certainly not asking a yes or no, but I'd like you to consider it, because I'm not in that room, but that's a very powerful room. That's our representative.
Sure, sense of the House is absolutely, could be something, or a House resolution could be another vehicle. It would certainly get 23 votes, which is the sum total of the votes in my caucus. I doubt it would get many votes from our Democrats on the other side. And like Senator Shower said, I'm almost certain it won't pass the Senate. But a House resolution or a sense of the House, yeah, that's something we could absolutely do. One of the problems with big omnibus election bills is that, and you know this, the title needs to be so broad to encompass everything you want to do that it opens it wide up for Christmas trees. Christmas tree means every senator and every representative gets to put an ornament on it. And if they put enough on it, it is no longer the bill that you designed. So my bill's pretty tight on elections. It's just focused on one thing and one thing only. And there will be others, there are others, frankly, that focus on other things, such as hand counting and the absentee issue and that sort of thing. So I think keeping them to each little piece to an individual small bill, and maybe only one of them passes, but at least we got that far. So
But just so you feel better, it's 7 degrees in Juneau and there's 60-mile-an-hour winds right now.
Yeah, I'm
Enjoy
going there
yourself,
tomorrow.
Representative.
I'm going there tomorrow, and it's supposed to be below zero. So, any other questions? Sharon?
I hope not everybody's tired that you can get. And can you talk about HB3 and do our representatives and senators understand, are they capable of understanding the importance of this bill?
You know, I think so. So HB3, for those of you that don't know, HB3 is a bill that...
Repeat your question.
Yeah, so the question is the Senate aware of what HB3 does? I'm pretty sure I'm paraphrasing a bit, but that HB3 is a bill that I wrote that came from John Thomas Nelson, frankly, some recommendations and some discussion with him. And it has to do with gold and silver, allowing gold and silver to be used as legal tender in the state of Alaska. Many states have done this. I think there's 27 that are considering it right now. My bill has passed the House and it is in Senate State Affairs. So any letters that you care to write would be helpful. It's a pretty simple bill. All it does is say that gold and silver under our rights in the U.S. Constitution should be able to be used in the state of Alaska as legal tender. It's kind of focused a little bit around what they call specie, which is gold backs, essentially. It's a bill that's actually made out of gold. So for those of you that don't know, it's a hedge. You can buy a $1 gold bill right now. It's worth about $4.30 or 32 cents today. Much cheaper than you can do trying to save up your money with inflation going on to buy a $2,000 1-ounce gold coin, right? You can also, if this passes, you could bring a gold back here to Mr. Brister and buy, if he accepts it, you could buy a drink with it and use it as legal tender in the state of Alaska. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. There's a few little nuances having to do with taxes. So the city of Wasilla that would normally tax a 1-ounce gold coin, because it's a commodity right now, wouldn't be able to tax it any more than they can tax a $50 bill because it's currency. So the Senate is interested. There are some senators that have gold mines, own gold mines, one at least, and there are a couple that are in gold mining districts. So that's helpful. And there's a few more that are interested for other reasons. They see it as maybe a tourism thing where somebody could, or Arts Council could make the gold back, they could design the front of it. And if you look up goldback.com, you'll see what some of these bills look like. So there is interest in it, and I think with enough pressure from you folks, we can actually get it passed. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Another issue that needs to be addressed by the legislator affects everybody in this room, and that's insurance. Right now, there's very few carriers that actually do business in Alaska, and every time I checked outside, they were saying it's because it's so restrictive, Alaska laws. I pay 300% more on my commercial liability insurance than I would if I was in Seattle. I mean, you call down there and you get a quote for something there, then up here it's just so much more money. That's something that needs to be fixed. It affects our automotive insurance, our commercial liability insurance, and we're just getting hammered up here with insurance.
Sure. I have a small piece of that. As a legislator, you cannot even get what they call umbrella policy. They won't even sell it to you at any price. So I have a bill that says if you sell umbrella policies at all in the state of Alaska, you must sell to elected officials, legislators, school boards, assembly people, city councils. You must sell to them too, even if it is a higher price because of the actuarials. I get that, but they can't just deny you based on your political office.
Is there people being restricted, not allowed to sell up here that would? And I don't have an umbrella policy. They make me buy a liability policy, a building policy, a liquor policy, a policy if you want to get into a bar fight. I have to have a special policy for that. And so the problem is they're restricting people to not do business in the state of Alaska that would force the cost down to get more competition.
Right. So all legislators do, but I also have a relationship with the insurance director, Lori Winghire, and I'm happy to bring that to her and have a conversation with her. If you send me an email, a couple paragraphs telling me what the problem is, send me an email.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a number of other businesses that I talked about it just this week with them, and everybody's got the same thing. We're going to try to get another meeting because maybe they can do something nationally to get them to make it easier to cross lines with insurance companies because that's the deal, they can't cross trade
Sure.
lines.
I'm
But
happy to bring that to her.
I'm told by the insurance folks, you guys are the problem. And we don't really care if you get an umbrella policy, we care that you fix our
Sure.
problems,
Right?
you know?
I'm not sure how we're the problem, but.
Well, they're
it's
saying
cer-
that regulations are so rigid in the state of Alaska,
The
that it allows you to
regulations.
operate.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we can absolutely, we can explore that with Director Winghire for sure. Just send me an email and I'll bump it up there and have a conversation with her. She comes into my office once a week or so. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Got the base student allocation BSA, we got the pensions and defined benefits, two different bills being pushed through. We know you have talked about the rail extension, which is going to be about a $250 million coming from the borough, and the other $1.7 billion to finish it all the way through to Canada is still on the table. Where's that money supposed to come from? And my final two is you ran for your position standing up for a statutory full PFD and the repeal of SB 26. Where do those two things still stand with you, and why have we not seen any action in nearly 3 years?
So remember, I'm one guy and I have one vote, and I still voted every single time for a full PFD when it came up. At some point, if the full PFD is off the table because it didn't pass the House or the Senate or some committee and they bring a budget back to me that has other things in it that need to be voted yes or no, just because I might vote for that budget doesn't mean I'm voting against the PFD. That's what most people don't understand. You need to look deeper into the committee hearings and find out what is actually presented to me. So every single time there's been a full PFD on there. In fact, I had, the first 2 years I was in, I had a full PFD amendment, both times on the floor. And the second year, I voted for concurrence because it had a full PFD. Senator Schauer got it through the Senate and I voted for concurrence. That's one of the reasons I voted for concurrence. It didn't go to concurrence because others voted against it. Instead, it went to a conference committee, and the MatSu, not only did we not get a full PFD, but we lost 7 trooper positions. So I'm doing the best I can, but I'm one guy. Remember, there are other folks down there that are voted in by other districts that don't care about the PFD. Anchorage, most of Anchorage, they don't want the PFD. They don't want a full PFD if it means an income tax. If there's even a hint of some sort of tax, they don't care about the PFD. So we're doing the best we can. SB 26, you know, I explored that when I first got down there and was basically told that there is no way to undo what SB 26 did. It would take multiple years and bills to undo that simple change from transfer to appropriation. So, the railroad, the money for the railroad. So there are many creative ways to fund the railroad. Right now the question is, do we want to federalize it? Because I think we could get the money out of the federal government, but I'm not so sure we want to federalize it. I'm not so sure we want the feds involved at all. There are ways to do it with the state, bonding. There's a regional infrastructure accelerator, loans that we could do. So there's a number of ways being explored right now. I think there's 4 different schemes that we're discussing right now. We are trying desperately not to take it out of the general fund. So I've talked to Governor Dunleavy at great length about how we're going to do it. I've talked to Mr. Bill O'Leary, the CEO of the railroad, and likely you will see, I suspect it will probably be enclosed in a bonding fund, and it'll probably be 3 different years. So it'll be $58 million the first year bonded, and then grow from there. The second year, maybe $110 million. So the question we have to ask is the return on investment going to be there? So if we use $58 million to fund Port McKenzie, are we going to get a return on the investment? And I think from what I've seen coming down the pike, whether it be Vitus Gas or Titan Natural Gas or Usabelli Coal, there's a new coal plant and coal mine being proposed that's not too far from Port McKenzie. All of those things coming down the pike will probably mean that the return on investment is there. We'll just have to explore that. So we're sort of in the beginning stages of it, but I think that we got scared 8 years ago when we pulled the funding from the port after putting $184 million into the rail extension. Then we stopped funding it. Would have been $125 million to finish it then. Now it's $247 million. So our hesitancy cost us $120 million.
I like your idea of trying to incorporate Anchorage.
Talk loud.
I'll repeat it. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's a great idea to try to incorporate the Anchorage port with the Port McKenzie and have someone over that position, but there's huge debt with the Anchorage port. Wouldn't that handicap the development of the Port McKenzie projects and the money going into that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. Yeah, that would be something. Mostly what we're talking about is just managing the ports the way they are. And then the debt payoff would have to be, no management company is going to assume the debt of either Port McKenzie or the Port of Anchorage, Port of Alaska. So we would just have to see how it was structured, how the deal was structured. And I certainly wouldn't be in favor of a combined port authority. And the port authority it's not really a venue to pay off debt. It's mostly just a venue to manage the port, to manage the decisions of the port and how it's going forward. So the question, and for those of you that didn't hear the question, the Port of Anchorage has some debt associated with it, and Ms. Crandall wanted to know if we would be assuming Anchorage's debt. I certainly wouldn't be in favor of doing it that way.
Well, I mean, the future funds coming into the Port McKenzie project, so that we might deter, investment into
Sure.
the Port McKenzie.
Right.
Because of the huge indebtedness of Anchorage.
Yeah, that's a good point, and something we'll have to look at. Right.
Regarding HB3, are you planning on, I'll speak louder. HB3, are you planning on building a mint to mint your gold backs, or how does that get facilitated?
I'm going to leave that to you. No, there are places that will mint those if you design them. There are a number of states that have put this in play and they haven't done their own money, their own gold backs. You can't even really call it money because states are prohibited from printing money, right? But you can call it specie, which it is, and they typically have them done at a special mint that has a special way of printing them that makes them less susceptible to counterfeiting, and they're all serialized, and it has to say the gold content on it, so it all says, 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold, 0.9999% fine, and all that kind of stuff. Some states have done it without doing their own money. They just put the framework in place, and other states have decided to print their own money. So I think New Hampshire, South Dakota, Wyoming, Louisiana, Utah, Nevada have all done their own money. They're actually kind of cool. So.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? I'll hang around afterwards if you guys want to talk. So, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we've had several different swaps in the program that we've had tonight, but at this time I'd like to call for Mike to come up and talk about the magazines. There you go. I think it's hello, test.
We've been looking for some way to make money for the district, and we thought we'd try this one. You'll pass that around. basically, it's this picture of Trump's mugshot on both sides of it. And it's a Magpul 30, so it'll fit right in your AR-15, about any of them. It's a good magazine. And we wanted to do $50 a piece for them. And that way, have a little money for the district here, and that's what we're going to do. It also gives us enough that we can get another 100 or so and sell those things and try them out. So that's what we're doing with it. And besides, if you go to the range and there's some other people that really don't like Trump, you can piss everybody off at the same time. It's not hard. Kind of show it off. That'd be the great thing to do. And that's what we wanted to do, was to do that and get some money up in the district, because we never had money, so we thought we'd like to try it out. And I have about 10 or 20 with me if anybody wants to come right up. You've got money with you. We've even got change. So thank you.
Part of the thought on that was the cost of the convention this year, which we'll say what the date is $375. So it's rather pricey. So the thought was maybe to have the district be able to supplement just a little bit to help some of the pain of the cost that's involved in that. So therefore it's kind of a two-edged sword that might kill two birds with one stone. So it's kind of a contribution more so than anything. And if you paid, let's see, what is that? Is that 47?
What's that?
If you paid 47, we'd let you skate for the 3?
We might.
We might? Okay, all right. All right. Yeah, tell all your buddies and everybody else, hey, it's a novelty situation, and it's a real good frown he's put on his face, so thank you. At the next time, wanted to be able to hear, was anybody able to attend the situation of the grand jury in Anchorage? Was anybody able to attend that? Okay, okay. Bert, you were. Would you please come up then and talk about that in a limited amount of time here? We're going to try and wrap it up to be able to let you get back home. Would you talk about that situation, give us a brief overview of it? Try and hold it down a little bit lower, but close to you.
Okay, 30,000 foot view, so that you guys all know what happened. State of Alaska versus Judge Margaret Murphy. The case opened with the defense for her bringing up Rule 1993, which was, if you guys are keeping up with the case, changed back in 2019 by the Supreme Court of Alaska. 2 justices out of the 5 outright said that it was 1,000% unconstitutional, the rule change that they had made. The rule change took the teeth away from the grand jury of Alaska and made sure that anything that they were investigating, they were no longer allowed to bring indictments forward. It had to be done by either a judge or by the legislative body down, say, in Juneau, to make that final decision. They took the citizens' rights that we have away from us and bring indictments through these investigations. The next step of what they did while they were there, they were talking something about the 12th juror that was not voted during it. They said they had to have a unanimous vote of the grand jury of 12 jurors to actually have brought this to the judge. The judge tried to offer the defense an opportunity to re-impanel the jury, the grand jury, so that they could get the 12th vote, either a yay or a nay, to bring this forward so that this case can continue forward. There's also a report that was supposed to be released immediately after the grand jury had adjourned that is supposed to be released to us, the public. That report, after it's now 9 months later, still under lock and key. That report would have been able to expose all the corruption that the grand jury had found up to this point. The next court case will be on February the 22nd at 10 a.m. And the state of Alaska, this is my own personal opinion, they gave one of the worst defenses as to why this case should be moving forward. I almost believe they're in the pocket too. This judge, or the attorney that is fighting for the state of Alaska, has also been involved in corruption cases, ironically enough, with the same people that are in the courtroom right now being tried against. That's the 30,000 view. Quick view. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, questions. Hold up, Bert.
Yeah.
Bert.
I'm really new to this. This is the first meeting I've been to, but something I recently learned about through one of the podcasters I watch,
Scott McCabe, Patriot Street Fighter, I'm still learning about this. There's an organization called Tactical Civics, tacticalcivics.com, and they are instituting constitutional county grand juries nationwide. They cannot stop us from investigating anyone we want to if we institute constitutional grand juries. I don't know much about it yet, I'm still learning. But this is something worth investigating because they will stop us from investigating anyone because we still got the swamp. But if they can't, if we have constitutional grand juries, they cannot tell us if we can investigate, they cannot stop the investigations. That's my understanding. So I'm just asking all of you, help me look into it. And if we can start a tactical civics organization in Alaska, I'm in.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Just making sure here that everybody has signed on the sign-in sheet to make sure we have contact information. I believe the contact sheet's at the back table. Sharon, is the sign-in sheet, is it back here at the back? If you haven't signed it, just make sure you just knock that out before the evening. The other thing is the state convention. Boy, this has been a runaround on the thing with the state convention. Trying to bring a little bit of focus into it. We're going to have a PPP, a preferential presidential poll that's going to be taking place, and we have to do that. And because of that requirement, which we were going to have a district convention in February, we already had that set up and locations and everything else. But now, because of that, there's a certain rules within the Alaska Republican Party to where they have to have a certain amount of time, and this is also a national thing. So therefore, because of it, everything has had to be delayed. So the convention, which we were going to have in March, which was voted on, is now been put back to April the 18th through the 20th. That will be in Anchorage. So if some of y'all are interested in being able to be a delegate or whatever else, the cost of that is going to be $375, pretty steep, plus the cost of if you're going to stay in, or then the other stuff that involve food and all the rest. So anyhow, that's one of the reasons why we're talking about the thing here with Mike. We're trying to be able to kind of cover a little bit of the cost so the pain isn't so intense. But the one we're going to have now is going to be in April, and it's going to be the 18th to the 20th, and it will be in Anchorage at the Captain Cook is where it's going to be. Please, yes. Yes, that's the state convention.
You have to reset the district convention?
And yes, we have. So therefore, we're trying to get that. We're having to reshuffle everything. So we're trying to get that for the March the 9th, I believe is when we're shooting, to try and get that, because then you need to have that even prior to your state convention. So it's really causing a rigmarole all the way around. So thank you for that. Just want to please.
Well, one more thing, maybe Doyle can speak to this, the PPP will happen in January?
Yes. Do you happen to know any information on that, of the PPP? I haven't talked with Ron on it. He mentioned to me, Ron Johnson, our regional representative and coordinator. He was talking that because of the size of our district, that presents problems. So, and this is going to be something that in person you have to be there. It's not that you can call in. So there should have been ways around this, especially considering the size of our district. But we're thinking in terms of maybe Willow is what we're thinking in terms of, this is just planning, so I don't want to get you too involved into the weeds right now, because this is all being thrown. Nobody has answers. Nobody's been able to give anything. Ann Brown was supposed to have this stuff out to us in December, but she didn't make it, and so we're trying to scramble to make things happen.
Presidential preference poll is on March 5th.
March 5th, yes. Yes. Yeah. So anyhow, that's a bunch of that information in relation to that. At this portion, is there any old business to be brought up? I don't see any. Is there any new business that needs to be brought up? With that, we're getting close down here to the very bottom. I couldn't hear. I'm sorry.
He said adjourn.
Yeah. Did I hear it, or was that just a suggestion? I think I heard a motion. Do I have a second upon that one? Okay, without that, is there any in opposition? With no opposition, stand adjourned. Take care. Take care. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my fellow Alaskans, for being with us here tonight. It is greatly appreciated. Do not forget to like and share this video. You can find this on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. You can always find us live on our website when we are live. And if you go to our website, please hit that support button. It's your contributions that make it possible for me to keep being out here doing this. I have a full new session season for session 33 down in Juneau this year. So active, it's unbelievable, and your support is desperately needed to be able to cover the ongoing costs. I was under the understanding that I was not allowed to write any messages on Facebook or anywhere else about for what was happening here today while this video is running. I've been scolded by the powers that be, the people that are supposed to represent us are upset. They don't like what I'm saying. They don't like what I'm putting into print. They just don't like me. And I've been told that if I keep it up, I'm not going to be allowed to do any of this anymore. At least that was the subtle threat that was given to me when this all began. And you guys can help make sure that that doesn't happen by making sure that I have enough capital-wise to be able to make sure I can make it to these events, to be directly right there in their face, whether they like it or not. So again, like and share this video. If you're not a subscriber, click that button to be subscribed, and also make sure you hit the bell to be notified every time we go live. I'd like to, at this point, take a big shout out to Tracy's Treasures, and I can never ever say enough out there about them. Tracy's Treasures, you can find them in Wasilla, Alaska, up there around Masonic. And they are a beautiful place. Everything under the sun that you can think of. You can see the beautiful, beautiful American wooden flag there that they donated to us. You will see that in an upcoming podcast from our studio here later at the end of the month. And don't forget, they are down there in Juneau starting next week. And again, thank you, Tracy Treasures, for being a proud sponsor of Politadick. You're as greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. You guys' shop is amazing. I love going in there and looking around, and usually walk out with a bag or two of stuff as I'm going. Again, like and share this video. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. We'll see you guys all the next time.